Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I'm coming in right now from the Gumbo Festival in the Treme at the Louis Armstrong Park. So if you hear some music in the background, that's what that is. They're doing sound checks, and I couldn't help but listen to some really good music while I did this. So I guess what I wanted to talk about right now was kind of the thing about imagination. I've actually noticed that for some reason the imagination seems to be under attack in our country. The idea that you can engage the improbable or the impossible has somehow become like almost verboten, and I've kind of started to question why that is. I mean, some of the best inventions that ever came to be actually came from people who thought the impossible could be possible, and it turns out it was. And so I kind of miss the engagement level that we used to have in the ridiculous. Like, what is the big deal about somebody believing in multiple dimensions? Or have you proven it wrong? No, you haven't. So what is the actual problem with it? Or what is the problem with your child wanting to be a physicist? Or wanting to be some sort of nuclear tester, whatever it is. I mean, anything that would test the imagination, because in order to make those things happen, you would have to deal in a lot of unproven. And you would have to engage the imagination in an educated format, but nonetheless, you would still be engaging the imagination. And I just sometimes sit there and I do the what if game. What if by us making it so silly to entertain these thoughts, we are somehow stopping ourselves from evolving to the next wave or the next level of what the human experience is supposed to be? What if by not engaging the leaders of tomorrow and things that they may not necessarily be comfortable with, like the idea behind multiple dimensions, or about stepping into different realities, or believing in a man in the clouds named God. Like, what is the big deal with this stuff? And all of it is based on some level of understanding of the cosmos. We're trying to rationalize why we're here, and we're trying to rationalize, well, I don't really care why we're here. I just want to know what I'm supposed to be doing, really, and what my function is down here. But I wonder for others, like, what is the big deal with letting them have their faith or their beliefs in life, or engaging these thoughts, when all of the best innovation, all of the best inventions and all of the greatest innovations have come from like-minded individuals who went that extra mile in their imaginative state and decided that they were going to funnel our voices through a wire and send it all the way through, the entire freaking planet, and it's going to land in another. I mean, think about how asinine that sounded back in the day. Or how about we were going to ride trains and be able to, spread in faster and quicker ways with something called a train, and that we were going to be able to do it architecturally. We were going to build these huge, massive buildings, and all of these things came from people just taking a leap of faith. And I just wish that as we engage the next level of leaders, specifically the leaders of tomorrow, that the leaders of today take a moment to realize that everything that we believe to be silly was impossible back in the day. These were things that would never have happened, and people swore could not occur. But yet here we are, and now we're actually engaging the next level of it, but yet we're stopping them and saying, no, keep it practical. We don't even understand dark matter. Well, how can you understand dark matter? You can't even understand basic matter. You're so stuck in it having to be within a set structure that you're forgetting how science actually works. It's a hypothesis, and so you're going to presuppose something in order to see if that's true or not. Which means you're going to have to engage the ridiculous at times. What if the Earth was flat? I hate to break it to you, but I tend to walk across the Earth in a flat format, so I guess from perspective sake, I guess they're kind of right. Obviously, that's not what they mean by that, but I'm just saying, what is the worst possible thing that can happen with that? That they believe that the world is flat. And, what is your problem with that? So they're not actually correct. Or maybe they are. I don't, it's not my place to say. But the fact that we keep stopping others from believing whatever it is that they want to believe, I just feel like we're limiting ourselves as leaders. And that's where we're falling behind other countries. Other countries have this way of looking at people and kind of categorizing them from what I'm looking at, from my general understanding. By the way, can I just say real quick that there's nothing more beautiful than sun tanning in the middle of November, almost at Thanksgiving, and I'm getting a perfect tan here, while the rest of the country is dying of heat, of cold. and my prayers are obviously out with California. It's my home state, and let's not talk about that right now. But my heart is with you guys. And actually, if AmeriCorps, since I'm signing up with them, I was kind of hoping that they would send me out there, but I think that would be a different organization, so never mind. But I'm willing to go to drop of a hat to go help. 631 people are still missing right at the moment, and that's an unheard of number. And anyway, back so I forgot what I was talking about. But when it comes to like engaging the leaders and stuff, I just think that as I look at other nations, they're kind of doing this categorization where they find very intelligent people and they let them kind of run the gamut, and they kind of let them have their thoughts, and then when they're proven wrong, they kind of realign them with whatever it is that they're finding to be true, and they kind of funnel that path down. Whereas here, it's like, no, you can't be right because I'm right, and no, you can't be wrong because that doesn't make it. Why can't I can't be wrong? There's no possible way I can be wrong. Yes, you can be wrong. It's not a big fucking deal. You're a scientist. You're not a Mad Hatter. You're not making stuff happen out of nowhere. And so we have to learn to prioritize our abilities to kind of engage these far out ideas, because by blocking them, we're just hurting ourselves. And I think hurting our whole world, essentially. We're falling behind in math and sciences, and for me personally, from engaging the topics that a lot of people don't want to talk about, like the asinine or the ridiculous or the multi-dimensions and black holes, and the possibility that we are the shadow kingdom, and that there's something called the collective that we're moving for, or that we've already crossed dimensions, or all of that stuff is fascinating to me. And the more that I open myself up to these possibilities, I gotta tell you, the better the world has gotten for me. And the opportunities that I'm getting are far more advanced and better than I could have ever imagined. But it happened because I took a leap of faith. I jumped. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go down the rabbit hole. And I started to study all this stuff. I came up with the exact same results as some of the leading scientists in the world, and I did it my way, and I did it by taking that leap of faith, and by doing the math backwards, and by doing things the way that my brain processes information. And admittedly, I belong to a certain percentage of the population, but I did it because I can see patterns that you can't see. And there's almost like a distrust of letting people who have gifts that are outside of our gifts lead the way in certain things. Why are we not spending more money engaging the autistic community? These are brilliant beings that are the closest thing we're going to get to God and something. Whether it's Chocolate is my favorite example, because my favorite kid in the entire world. I still haven't put his name out there because I don't want to put him on the spot. But Chocolate or chemistry or mathematics in some regard, or advanced calc, whatever it is that they are advanced in, we are limiting them by not engaging them and saying, no, we can't understand you, so therefore you can't be that intelligent. That's not how it works. And I hate to break it to you, but Einstein and all of the other brainiacs, and even myself, I can be perfectly talking to you guys, and I lose half of you midway through. And I know because you make comments and you send me emails, and I'm just looking at you and I'm going, so you do understand the perplexity behind communicating at certain levels. When you engage a topic that you're really passionate about, and you're on a different scale of looking at things, or you're looking at something from a analytical point of view, and other people are looking at it from a perspective that is not aligned with that, then you're going to have problems communicating effectively with each other. But yet you can't understand that the autistic community are brilliant people that we just need to learn to talk to, because they're going to guide us and they're going to tell us how to get there. Really? Because I'm pretty sure you do understand basic things like that if you were honest with yourselves. But then there's another rub. How many people are technically really all that honest? I mean, people who always look at me and say, well, you are exceedingly honest and that's not very healthy. And I just look at them and I go, well, why not? Because at the end of the day, I'm not wasting time that could be saving your child's life. Try telling somebody that has a child that has cancer, or that has HIV, or that has some sort of debilitating disease or whatnot, that the reason that you want them to hold on is because I'm not saying something and delivering it to you the right way. Suck my dick. Like, go fuck yourself. And so that level of asinine blockage is universal. And it's not like I'm on a soapbox, because God knows I'm not perfect, and I'm not the smartest tool in the show. I'm not the, what is the saying? I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed, but I'm pretty damn smart in that I understand that let people who have strengths outside of yours lead. A leader like myself, a strategy leader, I understand and wholeheartedly that there are leaderships in this world and intelligences that we have not classified yet that are more advanced than I am, and they are able to pick something up that I can't. And so what is the problem with trusting them in their strengths and letting them lead the way, even if it's just a short relay? So I understand patterns, and I'm really good at pattern recognition. I also understand advanced calc, and I understand certain things about the dark matter, and I understand certain perplexities other people may not understand. And I talk really fast, and I'm bilingual, and I can do it in both languages and all this stuff. Okay, fine. But at some point, when it comes to engineering, I'm going to look at you and be like, you could be telling me verbatim exactly what I need to do to put something together, and I'm going to look at you and be like, that's why I went to college. I don't fucking do that. He does that. And then I hand it off to the person who knows how to fucking do it. Because I'm not going to sit there, as much as I want to learn how everything is, I want to learn what I want to learn. I don't want to learn what you're telling me to learn. And so we have to kind of extend that same belief outside of ourselves. We are not so special that we can't understand the idea behind this. We have interests. Every single person on this planet has gifts. And every person on this planet as a leader has to understand that some leaders are better than others at certain things. It is not I'm not any less strong. My dick isn't any smaller because it's not any smaller because I give you the leeway to lead on this particular topic. It does not change anything in my life. It doesn't change my intelligence. It doesn't hurt my ego. All it does is it moves us forward. And I think if you're going to be a leader of either current leader or a leader of tomorrow, you have to engage the asinine. And you have to understand that you are not going to be number one all the time. In fact, point of order, for me personally, I'd rather be number two. And my mom used to always make fun of me when I would say this. She'd go, why don't you want to be number one? I go, because you can only go down. There's no place to go above one. But if you're number two on a continuous basis, you can choose to go to number three, or you can choose to go to number one. Either way, you're still going to be number fucking two. And so instead of being stuck at one, you have some movement. And so that's why I've categorize myself as an omega, is because although I have no problem leading as part of the INTJ thing, I have no problem taking center stage and letting you make me the fall guy or whatever it is, because I'm really good as a bad guy. In fact, I think if I ever did become a famous actor, I'm gravitating towards the bad guy because I'm really good at it. I'm really good at understanding the dynamics that play behind the sequence of someone who doesn't look at the world in the same perspective as you do, and so I can put that into the perspective of on camera and whatnot. But instead, what I wanted to do is I want to engage and motivate you, the leaders, to think about what you say and think about what your shortcomings are, not as a shortcoming, but understanding that through perspective, you're going to lead us somewhere. Let someone else who knows what to do when we get to that point that you don't know what to do, let them lead. And by working as a team in a collective environment, you're going to get a lot further than this whole blocking each other and, oh, America's got to be number one and China's got to be number two and all this stuff. Look, at some point, the world is going to have problems like global warming that are universal and affects all of humanity. And now that we're at that point, this whole I've got to be number one thing is no longer an American thought, because to be a true American is to embody the freedom to understand that you're not going to be the smartest person in the world, but you're going to engage things that will make you and everyone around you grow. And that's the American dream. You want to advance in the sciences and you want to compete in the world market. But if you're not even willing to step into the market and you're going to sit there and be like, well, I've got to do it independently all by myself, you're setting us back like 70 fucking years. And you know how I know? Because we're still fighting for women's fucking rights. The conversation's over on this topic, guys. I'm so done with this. Women have the right to their body. Deal with it. If you want to have your right to say something, cut your dick off and get a uterus. Otherwise, shut the fuck up. Ladies, if you want to fight for equality, then fight for equality. Don't fight for superiority. There. Everything's solved. End of fucking conversation. But instead, we're still going back and forth. Why? Because people want to feel like they're more important and their beliefs are more important than someone else. The true gift of a leader is to understand that you are going to have shortcomings. And instead of looking at it as a shortcoming, it's a misnomer. Just go ahead and say, I don't know anything about that. Why don't I default to this person who understands what they're doing? And in this case, I'm defaulting to women to know what it is that they can do with their body. It's common sense to me. I'm not emasculated by any way, shape, or form by it. And honestly, I chew my food. There's no way I ever wanted fucking kids, so it's not even my problem. So why am I involved in the topic? You know what I mean? It's like, and so I just think that at this point, we're at a very tedious point in life. Obviously, something has shifted in our universe. Something is just different. And instead of advancing in the sciences and advancing in fields that we need to be advancing, we seem to be stalling because we're not engaging the imagination, and we're not engaging the what ifs and all of the hypotheses that exist on the planet. I personally find a lot of truth in the collective thought. I like the idea of working more like an ant colony or like a beehive, where everybody's working in unison. Everyone has their own department and their own functions, and everybody does their own tasks, and we get told this is what we're going to do in that role. But they don't get to tell us what to do as a colony. It's not like, we're still going to be voting for people. We're still going to be doing our own free will. It's just that we're all serving a grander design. And I like that idea. It's a half step towards the BS behind the what's that thing? The utopian society. I hate to tell you, but if we had a utopian society, your entire existence would be only pain. Because in a utopian society, you would not have anything else that would register as different other than pain or the negative. So do you really want a fucking utopian society? No. And so, see, that's a different perspective. But how did I get there? I engaged the asinine thought. I was like, well, okay, Adam and Eve couldn't even handle being in there. And they were together. Like, there was just two of them. And they were like, fuck this shit. I'm going to take that fucking... Like, there's all these possibilities. I shouldn't use that because now all the religious people are going to get all pissed off. But here's the thing. I've never gone after religion. I think religion is in its place and in its right path a good thing. Because faith keeps humanity and all beings moving forward. It gives us the ability to believe that we can understand something that we may not understand. It gives us drive and a directive. I don't like organized religion, and that's self-explanatory. I mean, I don't like the Catholic relocation program they got going on and all these priests that keep moving around that are child molesters and predators. I don't believe that you get collect $200 and pass go, like, motherfucker, you're going to jail. And so because of that, I have a huge issue with organized religion. Also, I don't like anybody telling me that I have to believe something in order to get to someplace else. You don't know that. You haven't spoken to God. If you had spoken to God, you wouldn't be here. You would be in heaven. And so shut the fuck up. You don't know anything more than we do. So don't speak on behalf of other people, but you can speak on behalf of your own beliefs and your own faith. And I find that healthy, and I believe that everybody has that right. There are a lot of people who believe in Jesus, and I totally back that. Why not? Why not let people have their faith? Why not let people have their beliefs? And the more that we engage that as leaders of today, tomorrow, or whatever it is, the better we're going to be as a society. We need to move collectively forward instead of holding each other back. And instead of worrying about if I'm having a fucking cigarette and I'm going to die of cancer, why don't you worry about solving cancer? Stop worrying about the causation, because even moonbeams cause cancer. Everything on the planet causes death. I hate to break it to you, we're going to die. We're not going to live through this. Everyone here has a shelf life. Whatever God's plan is for you, or the universe's plan, or whatever the fuck you believe in, you are not going to make it out alive. So whether it's cancer or AIDS or whatever it is that you're going to get, why don't we focus on extending the quality of life in that condition, if that's what you want to focus on. Frankly, I want to check out when I can still wipe my own ass. That's my own thing. And if cancer's my ticket out of here, then I'm fucking taking it. But you're not going to tell me that I can't choose that path. And so instead of engaging all the negative side of it, why not engage what's positive, which is, let's solve world hunger. Let's solve global warming, because it's not just about you then. It's about the collective. Your children, your children's children. And so you're looking beyond your selfishness. And we live in a society that's so selfish that they can't see. I'll give you a perfect example. When you're in a room with a bunch of people and you say to somebody who's smoking a cigarette by themselves, and you say to them, cancer kills, and I look at you and I go, so does diabetes, asshole, but I see you fucking pounding the pies back and forth. If they get mad, and the collective gets mad at me, well, fuck you. Shut your fucking mouth. You came at the wrong person. I'm not seeking your approval. I'm not here to live your life, but I'm here to help our quality of life advance. So instead of being a negative, why don't you be a positive? And I always get into the giggles every time that people say that's so un-American to not stand behind America and blah, 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 blah. The American dream is to live the best fulfilled life that you can for you and your family, and to be free of religious persecution. All of the stuff that we're doing now. And so let's be American. Let's help each other. Let's band together as citizens and get these people and these imaginations going. Your children are the future. And the longer we let them live in imagination land, the further we're going to go in sciences and in maths. Because they're going to figure out stuff that we don't understand yet. How do I know? Because I can't figure out how to fucking do my phone, but these little rugrats can fucking figure it out in 2 seconds. So if you let them run with their imagination, imagine the advancement we can make. What if all of the answers that we have are hidden in every single autistic person's body? If they have answers that we desperately need right now, but we just have not spent time focusing on them because it's a waste of time by someone's opinion. It's not, and I can prove it to you, it's not. The person who says that, or the people who believe that they're somehow handicapped, are the same people who have never been gifted or have never been in a class with advanced placement. These are the morons who are level 2 students that get put with honors people because of their feelings. Sorry, it doesn't work that way, buddy. The truth is that they have all the characteristics of the super smart, and they are super smart. They're gifted in something. So let's engage their answers instead of putting a block in front of them. When it comes to other people, women, we need you in sciences. We desperately need women in science. You know, you have an ability to balance certain things out, and we need your ability to look at things and calculate them from your perspective. Because I hate to break it to you, you're equal to men, and so men have a counter ability to do what maybe you can't, but it's spread out evenly. Nobody's better than anyone else, and so the longer we stop each other from moving forward, the longer it's going to take to solve these problems that really matter. For me personally, I do believe in the ability to, if I need to die at a certain point in my life. And especially if I become terminal or something really painful happens to me, that's my right to die. Having said that, I can't deny someone else who does not believe in that. You know what I mean? So all of that stuff, we need to find middle ground. And all of these conversations that we're not having are just, why aren't we having these conversations? So what if we don't like each other or we don't get along about it? It doesn't mean that it goes away. If anything, it just grows and grows and grows, and it morphs into something that we can't control. So, as a leader of today, working with the leaders of tomorrow, guys, use your imagination. Think the impossible. Everything on the planet started off as improbable. And as such, we need to engage these miraculous miracles that kept happening. There was a man who walked on water. You know, there was a time when we did not go to space. There was a man who was able to genocide millions of people with just pervasive language and just you being able to coerce people into doing. I mean, there is no limit to both the great and the dire that we can do for the world, but yet we're so politically correct that we're not engaging anything. Look, it's time we engage. Use your imaginations. Think the improbable, impossible, and make it happen. I do every day. I believe that I walk from one reality into another, and I know when it happens. I believe that everything happens for a reason, but that I'm the reason, and that I did something, I agreed to something that I am not aware of on this level. And until I get there, I get really frustrated, which is the next thing I'm going to talk about. But it all starts with my imagination. What do you believe? If you sat yourself down in a room and you ask yourself, what are your core fundamental beliefs or things that you would entertain as a possibility, your list might be endless. Why? Because as human beings, we are capable of amazing things. We are the next level creators. We are made in His image, in her image, whatever you believe God to be, or the universe. And so if they put that much power into us, imagine what we can do if we work collectively. And now we're back to the collective. Whatever you believe, guys, it's time to engage the imagination. And that's all I wanted to say on this topic. So for Altruistic Channel, I'll see you guys on the next thing. And I think that'll be it. I think I'll just do like 4. And because I think I'm going to get burned after this. Like suntan a little bit too much. Oh no, I'm going to get cancer. Well, yeah, I'm in the fucking sunlight burning to death. Like, I can't even deal with it. So mind your business, do what you got to do for you, and let's collectively move on. But stop worrying about what I'm doing, because I certainly am not worried about what you're doing. Otherwise, happy you wouldn't be married and you wouldn't be able to have kids. So that's all I'm going to say on that topic. And if you rot us, neither would you. So this is Al for Altruistic Channel. You guys have a blessed day and have a wonderful life. I will see you next time. And have you made a mistake today?